Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Sarah and I'll be guiding you through your practice here today. Today's class is the 6th class of the 10 mini flows for 10 days. Today is a full body focus. So have some props close by, some blocks if you practice with them, and yes. Everything is optional in the classes that we do as well. Everything's always invitational, so if something doesn't align with you or you want to modify it in your own way or create your own variation of that movement, always feel free to do what feels right for you. Beautiful. So we're going to begin in a child's pose. So come to take the, actually we're going to begin, come to begin with the knees together, and we'll fold over the tops of the thighs, coming to find a child's pose, extending the arms out ahead of you, maybe allowing the forearms to settle down onto the mat. You can also always invite in a blanket or a pillow in between the thighs if that's a little bit too much for you. And taking a round of breath here. Inhaling through the nose if that's there for you, and exhaling through the nose. Taking one more round like that if it felt good. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. On your next breath, coming up to rise. As you come up to rise, come to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, thereabouts, coming to find tabletop. Coming to find a neutral spine, gazes down towards the mat. On your next breath, drawing the heels back towards the heels, finding hips back towards the heels, finding child's pose. Coming back up to rise to tabletop. Heels back towards the hips back towards the heels, for child's pose. And this time as we come back up through tabletop, allow the hips to come forward ever so slightly so the shoulders are coming over the wrists. Draw the hips back towards the heels, come to find child's pose. Coming back up to rise, come to bring the hips over just a little bit, allowing them to come down towards the mat, taking the shoulders across the wrists, ahead of the wrists. And then come to bring the hands a handprint ahead, taking them handprint ahead, and then come to bring the hips back towards the heels. I might not make it because the arms might be stretched out a bit further, but that's okay. And then come back up to rise. Allow the hips to come down ever so slightly. And then draw the hips back up. Come to tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for down dog. Take a round of inhale and exhale here. Allow that to be a nice generous bend in the knees. And then come back down into tabletop. As the knees graze the mat, lift the hips straight back up into down dog. Going to take that again, coming down as the knees touch the mat, taking the hips back up to down dog. Taking that 2 more times in your own breath. And this time coming back into down dog. From downward facing dog, we're coming to find ourselves into a plank. So coming all the way into plank, and then come to lower the hips. So we're in this version of floating up dog. If that's uncomfortable, come to bring the knees down towards the mat. And we're allowing the chest to come through. And finding that engagement through the legs, firing back up, allowing the legs, the glutes to squeeze as we lift the hips up and back for down dog. And we're going to go one more time like that. So coming to find yourself into a plank pose, coming to lower the hips down, legs are floating, really engaging the legs in here. So switching on the glutes, maybe the knees are down towards the mat. Gaze is forward, and then come to lift the hips up and back for down dog. Staying here for a round of inhale and exhale. And bringing the knees back down towards the mat, walking the hands in towards the body, take the knees out wide to the edges of the mat. Come to sink down towards the floor as you walk the hands out ahead of you, coming to find a wide-legged child's pose. Taking a round of breath here. If the forehead's not quite meeting the mat, maybe you have that block underneath the forehead, or maybe you're quite happy just allowing it to hang in between the forearms. And then start to push the hands in towards the mat. Start to think about getting light through the right hand. Come to lift the head ever so slightly as we take that right hand and we thread it through that space between the left arm and the left knee. Come to turn the gaze over towards the left, allow the forehead to come down to rest on towards the mat. Come in to find a variation of thread the needle in child's pose. And then drawing that hand back through centre. Coming to find one round of breath here in your neutral child's pose. Firming down through both hands, start to get a little bit light into the left hand as you come to lift the head, and then take that left hand, thread it through to the right side. Take the gaze with you, allow the side of the head to come down towards the mat if that feels good. And then your next round of breath, allow that hand to come back forward, taking one round of breath in your child's pose here. And then walking the hands in towards the body, coming up to find a seat. And we're going to come to find a cross-legged position. So you might like to maybe sit on a block or a bolster or a pillow. If the hips can be quite tight in this position, or ankles, I can get a little bit pain in my ankles sometimes in this position, but just listening to your body and coming to set yourself up here in your position. And once you've found your seat, coming to place the hands either beside the body on the outside of the hips, or maybe the hands are on the knees. And then we're going to come to circle forward, so we're bringing the chest over the thighs. As we draw back to the back of the room, we bring the chin towards the chest. So we're just taking some circles out here through the body, allowing the shoulders to come forward and then backwards. And then we're going to go the other way. Feeling into the spine, into the hips, maybe even a little bit into the lower legs, the ankles, as we circle round and back. And then come to release the legs, give them a little shimmy and a shake. Find yourself back into a tabletop. And once you've found your way into tabletop, we're going to be moving through Sunbird here. So there is a couple of variations. I'll just take you through the first one and then we can modify them. So bring the left knee in towards the centre so it's joining the right leg. Come to extend the right leg back behind you. The toes are tucked. Come to extend the left arm out ahead of you, or maybe the fingertips are towards the floor also. So first variation, first modification can be that you drag the foot, drag the hand in towards the centre. They're still staying connected to the mat as the hand meets the knee, and then you re-extend. If you're looking to add on, come to hover the leg so it's about hip height, hover the hand so it's at shoulder height. On your next breath, drawing elbow in towards knee or hand towards knee, then re-extending. We're going to take whatever variation you're going with 3 more times. So just moving with your breath. And when you've done your final round, coming to bring the left hand back down to the earth and the right hand back down. Come to find that tabletop. And then come to take the right hand, a handprint ahead of where it is. Kickstand the right leg out towards the side, and then come to find yourself in a side plank with that left leg extended down the mat, toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Sending that left arm up towards the sky. Taking a round of breath here. And either you can stay here or you can come to hover the left leg so it's at hip height. And once again, you can add on here. You can either stay here or you can draw the knee in towards the center of the body and then bring the top hand to touch the knee as you re-extend. If you want more, you can add on. You can draw elbow towards the knee and then re-extend. Just taking that one more time. Beautiful. And then coming back through center, coming to place that left hand back down towards the mat. And we're just still keeping that left leg back behind us hovering. If it is hovering, or if its toes are tucked to the mat, it's perfectly okay also. And then come to bend the knee, and we're going to circle the hip out. We're going to circle the knee out towards the side of the body, towards the hip, as we then swing that left leg, that left foot towards the top of the mat to find a version of lizard lunge. If you didn't quite make it, you can just drag the foot along with you until it comes towards the top of the mat. And then come to walk the foot in towards the centre. Once again, if you're using blocks, they're quite good. They help to create space between the chest and the thigh. Come to find a higher lunge. Come to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. So we're in a runner's lunge now. Firming down through both feet, finding that even weight of distribution, feeling stability before we come up to rise for crescent lunge. Bring the hands along with you. Maybe they're up towards the sky, or maybe they're at heart center. And then we're going to come to bend that back knee and lower the knee down towards the mat. As it grazes, we're coming back up. Taking that 2 more times, flowing with the breath. Embracing any wobbles. And then as you come up for your final round, we're going to keep this right hand up towards the sky as we send this left hand back behind us. Maybe it even reaches back for that right thigh, or maybe it is on the left hip. And then coming to bring the hands back through center, turning to face the front of the mat, coming to bring the hands down either to the blocks or to frame that front foot, lowering that back knee down. Coming to untuck the toes, we're going to lift the hip, bring the hips back towards the heels. As we do so, those front toes are lifting. So we're in a half split variation here. Once again, you can use the blocks to help elevate you here. Then come to bend back through that knee, planting that left foot back down. Coming to frame the foot with both hands, and then coming to lift the back knee, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Couple of options here, so really pushing into the hands, protracting through the upper back, thinking cat, as we then come to drag that foot all the way towards the back. Or you can bring the knee towards the chest, up a tiger's curl, and step it back into plank. Lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a round of breath here. And then on your next breath, come to find three-legged dog. So coming to lift the right leg up to about hip height, so it's hovering, maybe pointing or flexing the toes to find that sense of engagement. Bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, step the foot through, give it a helping hand if you need it. Coming up to rise for crescent. Coming to frame that front foot, stepping the foot back, drawing the hips up and back for down dog. Taking a round of breath. Finding three-legged dog, coming to bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, step the foot through. As we come up to rise, bring the hands along beside you. Come to bring that right arm back behind you, left arm in front. Coming to find crescent twist. Back through center. Come to frame that front foot, step the foot back, draw the hips up and back for down dog. Taking a round of breath. Coming to bring that right knee back up, that right leg back up for three-legged dog. Bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, step it through. Coming up to rise for crescent. This time come to cactus the arms, so we're bending the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades into one another, allowing the chest to shine forward. Maybe the gaze comes up ever so slightly. And then coming to bring the hands to frame that front foot, either coming onto the blocks as we draw the hips back, coming to find a modified pyramid pose. So we're still on the back toes, but we're straightening through that front leg. Maybe there's a micro bend in the knees. And then coming to bend back through that front knee, come to plant the hands and step the foot back to meet the other foot. Come to lower the knees down, just taking a moment in child's pose. Come to tune into the breath and come to notice what there might be to notice here. Since we've worked one side of the body over the other side, does it feel any different at all? Not attaching any judgment, just simply observing. Beautiful. And when you're ready, coming back up to rise, finding yourself in your tabletop. And when you found yourself in your tabletop, come to bring the right knee in towards the center so it's grazing the left leg. Come to send the left leg back behind you, coming to tuck the toes. Coming to extend the right arm out ahead of you, or maybe the fingertips are on the floor, but the hand is reaching towards the front of the mat. Either staying here with that motion of dragging knee to foot to hand, or come to lift the right leg, lift the left leg, lift the right arm. On your next breath, coming to draw either hand in towards the knee, coming to crunch, or coming to bring elbow in towards the knee. So thinking that cat pose, so we are doming through the upper back, and we are drawing all the energy in, curling up the body, taking 1 or 2 more rounds where you are. And then when you're ready, come into place, the hand back down, place the knee back down. Come to take the left hand a hand print ahead of you. Come to kickstand the left leg out towards the side, and then coming to turn on towards the left side, coming to bring that right leg straight down the end of the mat, toes are facing the long edge of the mat. Bring that right arm up towards the sky. Maybe you want to stay here, or maybe you come to hover that right leg so it's in line with the hip. Once again, you can either stay here, or you can come to draw the knee in towards the center of the body. The top hand might come to reach, or the elbow might come to reach. It's just drawing all that energy in towards the center, then re-extending. And taking 1 more round in your own time. And then coming to turn the chest, turn the body back down towards the mat, bringing that right hand to join the left, and then coming to bring the legs back through center. Keeping that right leg hovering here, or toes on towards the mat. And come to bend the knee and send the knee out towards the side. And I'm going to take that right foot and bring it towards the top of the mat. If you didn't quite make it, give it a helping hand, or once again you can just drag the foot out towards the side and help it come towards the front, finding this low lizard variation. Come to walk the hands to frame both feet, so we're bringing that foot in towards the center. Finding our lunge. Come to tuck the back toes if they're not already, and lift the back knee for low lunge. On your next breath, coming to ground down through both feet, through both toes, through the front heel, as we come up to rise, finding your lunge. Taking a round of breath here. And then coming to lower that back knee down as the knee grazes. Come back up. Front knee is still bent. Just taking that 2 more times with your breath. Lifting and lowering. On your final round, we're going to keep that left hand up towards the sky, and we're coming to twist ever so slightly as that right hand reaches back behind us for the left thigh, or maybe it's on the right hip. And then coming back through center. Coming to lower that back knee down. As we do so, maybe the hands are coming onto those blocks, untucking the toes, and then coming to draw the hips back. As they do so, the toes of the right foot are peeling towards the face for half splits. Maybe the blocks are closer towards the body to create more height. Bending back through that knee, planting the foot down, come to frame that foot, come to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Once again, really push the mat away from you to create that space through the chest and thigh, as we then step the foot back or come to find tiger's curl, coming into plank. Lifting the hips up and back for down dog. Taking a round of breath here. And on your next breath, coming to lift the left leg for 3-legged dog, bringing it in line with the hip. Bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, step it through. Coming up to rise for crescent lunge, taking the hands up with you, front knee is bent. And then coming to frame that front foot, come to step the foot back to plank, lift the hips up and back for down dog. Taking a round of breath. Coming to re-extend that leg back behind you for 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest, step it through as you come up to rise. We're going to send that left arm back behind us, right arm in front as we twist over towards the left side. Taking the gaze wherever feels right for you, and sweeping the hands back in front of you, back above the head, framing that left foot. Come to step the left foot back to meet the right, lift the hips up and back for down dog. Taking a round of breath here. And then come to re-extend that leg one more time, finding three-legged dog. Bend the knee, bring the knee towards the chest. Step the foot through. Come up to rise for crescent lunge. And then drawing the elbows down, finding cactus, allowing the chest to shine forward, drawing the shoulders into the shoulder blades in towards one another energetically. And then coming to bring your hands either to the blocks or to frame that front foot as we then draw the hips back, straightening through that front leg, still on the back toes, frame modified pyramid. Having a little micro bend in the knee here. And then come to bend back through that left leg, come to frame the left foot, come to step the foot back to meet the right, and then draw the knees down towards the mat. Come to find child's pose. Maybe the hands are reaching towards the back of the room, or maybe they are stretched out ahead of you. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Coming to tune in once again to notice what there might be to notice here. Maybe there's a change in body temperature. Maybe there is a change within the breath. Not attaching any judgment, just observing how the body changes through movement, or how it might not change. And taking 3 more rounds of breath where you are. Very slowly and mindfully coming up to rise. And then coming to close off your practice here. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. I hope you had fun exploring a full body practice. Appreciate this one was a little bit faster today, but always feel free just to take your own time. Even being videos, they're great. You can pause them and work through them step by step yourself. But yeah. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you hopefully at the next class. Bye guys.